We're going to look at Nintendo's ninjas versus the US military. I'm assuming this either has to deal with... Okay, whatever you say. But, I have a feeling that this video may or may not have to deal with the fact that Nintendo patented a certain style of game where you call upon party members to do things, which describes a large portion of gaming. So, alright, but if that's what this is about, I can only imagine how it turns out at the end. But make sure to, if this is a standalone video, make sure you check out Legal Mindset in order to show him some support. Let's go ahead and see why Nintendo is suing the US government.
Nintendo.
I've heard that. I haven't had that kind of audio thing happen to me.
May be taking on the world, and that may include the U.S. government as its lawfare campaign expands and continues. Of course, I'm Andrew Escobar, American attorney and legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. So let's get right into it today. So this is a topic that many people have asked me to cover, and they've been asking me to cover this for a very long time because it's something very much ongoing, and it affects not just Nintendo.
No, you just reminded me of the Pokemon episode of South Park where they're trying to recruit all the kids in order to bomb Pearl Harbor again.
Just Pokemon and Palworld, but the entire gaming space. And this could affect a genre, this could affect the gaming space, the modding.
Okay, so we are talking about that patent that freaking Nintendo is trying to implement.
Community. And even Nintendo itself, this could be make or break for Nintendo, where they cement an image in the world, in the gaming community, as the villain, as the evil corporation.
No, Nintendo has been on freaking thin ice ever since the whole Switch 2, all of that stuff.
Really turn things downward for their very own business. We're going to talk about this today from both a legal perspective and also from a business perspective, because as I am a corporate attorney, I've seen the inside of these corporations. I know what makes business sense and what doesn't. And indeed, this campaign of lawfare is absolutely suicidal for Nintendo.
Oh my God, I can only imagine.
And of course, this is a fast facts video. So if you want to see the longer version, you want to get all the reactions, all the comments, check out the live. If you do like the fast facts, make sure you like the video and leave a comment below. So let's get into PowerPoint to PP here today. And of course, this is both a Japanese and US thing because the lawsuits are going on in Japan, but there's US patents involved. And of course, when the US government gets involved, well...
You don't want the US government involved, no.
That will be a lawsuit in America. So let's talk about this. So first of all, there's an update that Nintendo is now arguing as part of their ongoing lawsuit with Palworld that mods don't count as proper games. So what they're...
Oh, no. I know that Nintendo be very extremely protective of their copyrights and stuff. No, there was like that one Switch emulator that ended up getting shut down not too long ago. And then the earliest editions of the Switch, when the Switch first came out, people were able to like easily mod those things, but then after a while they made it so that if you mod your Switch, then I guess you're just not allowed to play. Oh, Wolfie Kami, you just reminded me of when a certain chord progression got temporarily copywritten by some other artist's estate.
Attempting to do is have Palworld say, hey, you need to shut down every single mod out there of Palworld, especially if it would even seem a little bit like Pokemon. We're going to have you shut that down because Palworld is, of course, being accused of being too similar to Pokemon, and therefore, hey, we're going to say you got to shut that down.
No, I remember when Palworld came out, that was kind of a big deal. It kind of died down a little, but it kind of stuck around because of all the lawsuits that they kept fighting.
Now, mind you, their current lawsuit is over patents. It's actually not a copyright lawsuit, but they're attempting to expand it further. And you can see that, of course, people are coming out with mods.
Oh yeah, the Pal Farm.
And spin-off games right now. You see Pal Farm here, which is a Palworld spin-off game, enjoying a farming life with mysterious creatures known as pals. Team up with them and grow your farm at your own pace in this brand new creature collecting farming sim, fully playable in multiplayer.
You're patenting. Okay, Jackal, whatever you say. But they don't count as art. Oh, whatever. Those people. No. I played some. No, I played. I'm not really an avid gamer, but I've seen some beautiful looking games with some banger ass music.
So this is them, hey, kind of spinning off of Palworld. Well, guess what? This is exactly the type of thing Nintendo hates. And what Nintendo is missing out here is that both Palworld and all these mods like Pal Farm are things that actually help Nintendo, help the company, and help everybody. But
no, this actually reminded me of when people get upset when you illegally downloading music. Like there's this old website called LimeWire. I'm not old enough to remember what LimeWire and Napster were, where people would share like music and stuff. And it unironically led to like higher sales for like different records and stuff. Now, obviously, those types of file sharing companies ended up getting into hot water because they were sharing lewd images of rather young people. But even to this day, you know.
Only because they're operating from this scarcity mindset, which drives them into this insane lawfare, are they dragging themselves down here. We're going to see kind of some of the legal consequences here.
Right.
So let's talk about the legal battles in Nintendo, and there's various ones that are ongoing here. First, and this is the biggest thing that bothers me, is that this battle over mods, really the decision whether or not the mod rests with the game owner and their end user license agreement, the ULA. So if Palworld wants to decide to allow mods, that's Palworld's decision. That should not be Nintendo's decision. So the big issue with this precedent is if Nintendo wins this precedent, then any game which looks at another game and says, hey, this looks sort of similar to me, or hey, I made some last minute patent, and we're going to talk about the sneaky patent troll level BS that Nintendo is pulling.
Yes, that I know exactly what he's talking about.
Any company could come out, file a last-minute patent, and stop mods. This would kill the modding community. This would allow big corporations, big corpos to nuke mods across the board. And this is an absolute travesty because mods are sometimes the most beloved parts of the game. In fact,
I know. I've like, I like one of my favorite game series is Kingdom Hearts, and that has a very, very strong and passionate modding community. No, the Nobody May Cry mod of Kingdom Hearts 2, where you play as Roxas, looks like a lot of fun. Granted, I'm not really that much into mods at all. I don't really care that much for modding, but I know that a lot of people are very passionate about that stuff.
many times big companies look at the mods and they find which mod is most successful and they make a game based on the mod, or they make official support for that mod, right? Look at Dota, right? Dota became a thing, right? And that's, once again, goes all the way back to being a mod. But a lot of these gaming companies have forgotten their roots. They forgot where things come from. And
yeah, I can imagine, Wolf. You know, some of the here on the Biscoon channel, we don't necessarily support privacy, but that doesn't mean I can't stop people from doing that. But I do have like little songs that I got from like YouTube. Like I'm recording this stream with like OBS, which you can record stuff with it, obviously, but you know.
They're just trying to win through little legal persnickety tactics, which just make them seem petty and ultimately push them deeper and deeper into the villain role.
Jackal.
And the biggest thing that happened here that really caught my eye was last month, Nintendo snuck in a new patent, a US patent, about summoning a sub-character to fight. So essentially what this does is say
summoning a sub-character. You know, I mentioned Kingdom Hearts earlier. Kingdom Hearts has the literal summoning mechanic where you summon like a Disney character. And apparently, if this patent goes through, if this patent is official, then those types of games won't be able to do those types of mechanics.
Anytime that there's any game where there's
legal mindset's
a sub-character, that meaning, you know, the main character. Now, initial analysis by patent attorneys, and once again, that's not my area of specialty, I'm more of a generalist. Initial analysis said, yeah, well, it's technically legal, but they really don't want a judge to look at it. If a judge looked at this, they might say, hold on there, especially in the United States, hold on there, what you're trying to do is control the entire pocket monster genre, or even pocket character, or sub-character genre. You really can't do that. You can't do that in America. You can't say, hey, no, we own the entire genre. You can't do anything in this entire genre. That's not allowed. Think about superheroes, saying, hey, you can't make a superhero genre, you can't make a monster genre, or whatever else, right? A horror genre, dinosaur genre, right? How far are we going to let these corporations go and just monopolizing genres? It doesn't make sense, and it stifles creativity. It's absolutely horrible for everybody. Nobody wins here, and the corporation just looks horrible.
Nintendo seems to be complaining about like originality and all of the. I'm drawing on the blank. Intellectual property there. Wanting others to be original, but it's like originality can only go so far. But a lot of games take inspiration from each other. It's not really that big of a secret. And the day that it's it still be considered because it's loaded. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm not that well versed in the legality of things like that, so it's hard for me to really judge. Like, I've got YouTube Music, which has a lot of the people talk about how Spotify is like stealing from isn't really good for artists and stuff, but I don't know. I use YouTube Music because YouTube Music allows me to get songs that Spotify otherwise wouldn't have, like rhythm game music, but I can't really speak on behalf of all of that stuff.
Now, what the reality is, and once again, I tell you guys a legal reality, whether the facts meet your feelings or not, and I hope that people who both are pro-Nintendo and anti-Nintendo can listen to this, but Japanese courts are likely to favor Nintendo. Now, that's both based on the power and structure of Nintendo in Japan, their influence, etc. But the other thing that is really important to note, especially with US patents, is if any of those patents in the US are challenged, US courts might not look so favorably on Nintendo. So under US law, they might be in some trouble. And that's where Nintendo is probably sweating right now. Because if someone with deep enough pockets came at them and really came at them hard and really pressed them, they might be in some big trouble. So I want to get into a situation with America. In fact, it got brought up today by ICE and the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, Lord. ICE is getting involved?
Which dropped a very spicy video, and I'm wondering.
Oh my God!
Whether there's some base Chad in the social media department at DHS who's just sitting there. He's a gamer, and he's like, "Hey, you know what's trending right now? Nintendo being an asshole. So let's troll them and let's absolutely poke Nintendo, because if anybody can go after Nintendo, it is the U.S. government. Once again, Nintendo has a lot of money, but the U.S. government can just print money. I mean, they just print money, and what makes it even worse is most Japanese debt. If you don't know this, they tend to have a lot of it denominated in U.S. dollars. So as the U.S. prints, that just hurts the Japanese side. So Nintendo, if they're going to borrow, would probably just end up benefiting the U.S. government, which just would fuel the lawsuit. So it's absolutely a glorious situation. It's kind of a funny white pill. But anyway.
Oh man, that's diabolical. No, the word diabolical happens to be the new word used by the slop tubers.
Anyways, you can see the DHS in this Gotta Catch 'Em All ICE video referencing the ICE roundups, used the kind of trademark lettering of Pokemon. You can see them here rounding up people. They use clips from Pokemon, Pokeballs, Hatch Catch 'em, etc.
Oh Lord, catching illegal immigrants like Pokemon. Oh man, that's crazy.
Right, to the tune of Gotta Catch 'Em All. So this is
my
something
God.
that, hey, if Nintendo...
Oh, Got to Catch 'Em All. I remember Matt Pat in one of his oldest game theory videos talking about how where he mentioned people accusing Pokemon of being satanic, where Gotta Catch 'Em All backwards is I love Satan. Oh Lord.
That was going to come at them.
Those
Nintendo
are the
was gonna
days.
Say, hey, we're litigious. We have to sue everybody. We have to do everything. Well, Nintendo, if you want to play that game, if you want to be a big boy and sue everybody, let's see you sue the United States. Please, dear YouTube overlords, dear Nintendo, please sue everybody. So much money.
No, Nintendo, if you're watching this, first of all, this isn't me trying to offend you or anything like that, but go ahead. See what happens, Nintendo. No balls.
Covering this case, please do that. As a grifter lawyer here on YouTube, and I say it as a term. Of course, I'm joking. That would be horrible for Nintendo. That would be absolute disaster for them.
No, it would be.
What was also funny?
Oh, good Lord! Really, we're doing this now?
Is they not just copied the theme, but they even went to Pokemon cards. So even the
oh God, that's diabolical.
Pokemon cards and all that related to them, they kind of made those out. And whoever did this, the Pokemon card element of this video was like 3 seconds,
that's
but they put thought and detail into this, like type illegal HP1.
What the hell?
Right? They got their crime here. They got their history. And then the best thing that made me really laugh was weakness.
Oh my God, I don't want one of these. These are all
ice. Weakness to ice. That's absolutely
weakness to ice. Oh my God, what the hell? Oh my God, I'm loving this video. Legal mindset, you outdone yourself this time.
Hilarious. And of course, they all died to a shed ninja. Isn't it?
Okay. There's no way the Nintendo actually... This is... Oh my God, the absurdity of the situation. Okay, that's enough. Welcome back, Sally. We're having some fun. The absurdity of we're watching Nintendo's ninjas going up against the U.S. military.
When you all died to a shed ninja.
Because of Team Pokemon. Because we need to catch all the Team Pokemon to defeat the evil power. And the evil power is the United States government. Because we have to bomb Pearl Harbor. Owata Beikoku. Owata Beikoku.
But anyways, let's look at this in fair use. So let's say, hey, if Nintendo's going to come at the U.S. government, what would happen? What are the fair use factors? And this applies to a lot of other cases as well. You can use this just broadly, especially for copyright, etc. Well,
jumping taco. Oh my God. Why is this happening?
There's really 4 things. Purpose and character of the use. Is it commercial, non-commercial? Is it research, educational, governmental? The nature. Is it factual or creative? The amount and substantiality of the work used. So if we're talking about the Ethan Klein lawsuits, right? If you just watch all of his content, that's all of it. That's really one of Ethan's stronger arguments in his lawsuits against Casey Tron Denims and the Orbiters and Discord and
and then now we're bringing up freaking the Ethan Klein drama. No, we're getting all of the drama slop today. This is crazy.
But they just use some clips, right? So that's a much different story. And then last is the effect on the market. So are you a market competitor? Are you a market competitor to Pokemon? So let's look at that compared to the U.S. government. Let's pretend in a magical world, where Pokemon...
Where all your dreams will come true.
and Nintendo sue the US government. This is not going to go well for them because the purpose and character they use is governmental. It's nonprofit. They're not making a game. They're just trolling. They're just making a meme, right? What's the nature? It's a creative parody. So it's not something, it's something that typically is protected, not something that typically they would rule in favor of Nintendo. What's the amount? They only use little clips of the pieces. They use the theme song, but it's mostly government footage of government, officers arresting people, which Nintendo doesn't own. And what's the effect on the market? Not at all. The government is not in the pocket monster genre. The government is not,
Imagine freaking the government decides to release an app. Well, technically there is an app where you can self-deport, but I don't think that's the same as Pokemon Go.
Selling games. The government is not selling Game Boys and stuff like that. So all these factors would go in favor of the US government. So they would just lose that fight. But what I want to talk about today in the business suicide, and this is part of the deeper thought here that I hope you guys can appreciate as people of culture, is that there is an ability to profit, even if something is similar. And this is kind of the double effect. It's kind of the Hollywood double effect, or some people actually call this the Armageddon deep impact effect.
Where?
Now, I know some of you Gen Z people may not know this, so stick with me. Back in the day of movies, when movies were good, when Hollywood did things, right? Think way back. You were probably a wee if you're a younger person, but I remember this. They would put out similarly themed movies. So they're both about an asteroid that would end the Earth.
Oh, so the opposite of Barbenheimer.
And what this would do is, instead of hurting, because people might think if you're living in a scarcity mindset, thinking, oh my gosh.
Oh, I think he's like a double feature type of thing.
There's only so much money. We got to get that money. We got to knock out our competitor. You might think, wow, why didn't Armageddon sue Deep Impact? Right? Why didn't they knock them out of that? Well, number one, you can't take over a whole genre, right? And number two, the movies actually generated more money because both of them came out around the same time. Why?
No, isn't that kind of what happened with Barbie and Oppenheimer? People would go to see the Barbie movie and then Oppenheimer and vice versa.
Why did that happen? Let's talk about the double effect.
Work them on. Okay.
This is a proven market strategy that boosts both products. There's shared hype, right? So people.
No, this is what competition is for, right? This is like capitalism 101. When you're making a similar product that's not exactly the same and you want to promote that, obviously you need at least some competition.
People get excited for both. They get excited for, hey, I love space, I love these movies. And it creates a cultural conversation. People start talking about space, start talking about asteroids, start talking about, well, what if this happened? What would you do, right? It's like the zombie genre.
No, what if Barbie dropped a nuclear bomb?
People started talking about, well, if zombies attack, what would you do? Would you survive? What would you do? What's your tactic for zombies, right? And it just takes over your thoughts. Beyond that, there's strategic differentiation. So let's talk about Pokemon and Power World. So with Pokemon, intended
yes.
audiences. Now, I know I say intended because that said, and I'm looking at all of you guys out there, and listen, I don't care how much Tylenol you take, and I'm not going to judge you, right? No judgment here in the legal mindset.
No, if anyone knows about like how Pokemon cards and fights that break out between scalpers at the Costco, where you capture. Okay, Jackal.
Yes, I know older people play Pokemon. I know a lot of it.
If it's a real game, that's interesting.
Adults that play Pokemon. I'm not judging you for that. Listen, I may or may not. I cannot disclose whether I have emulators on my computer.
No, here on the BizCoon channel, we do not support piracy, but I can't stop you from doing that.
Okay, and I cannot disclose whether I played Pokemon Ultraviolet. That's something I'm not going to disclose on the internet.
I don't really play Pokemon all that much. I know that my siblings have like Pokemon cards on and off, but
that said, you can say, okay, Pokemon is intended for younger audiences. Power World is mature. Power World has guns. Power World perhaps tackles the topic of slavery, right?
Does it? Good lord. No, I know that Power World is basically just Pokemon with guns. It's like freaking Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds being card games on motorcycles.
There's these more mature topics and more refined taste, you might say, for Power World. It's not necessarily a one-for-one. And beyond that, what it does is it boosts the genre, increased visibility. People are talking about pocket monsters, right? Pocket Monsters becomes cool again. It becomes a thing because everyone's making these games.
Yeah.
And lastly, there can be cultural references. Content creators can argue forever. I remember getting on podcasts and talking about, hey, which is better, this or that, like the zombie movies, which is better, right? With fantasy, which is better, right? A Wheel of Time,
that sounds like fun.
Like, you can argue and nerd out over these things, and that's good for both of the properties. It's good for everybody. You do not need to knock everybody out. So my kind of, preaching to Nintendo here, it's sort of
okay.
To choose the path of good, right? I've been on this kind of thing here for a lot of different reasons, but choose the path of good, Nintendo. You still can get people to like you, but you have to decide which character you want to be, right?
Oh, shit.
Do you want to be Bowser? Do you want to be evil, or do you want to be Mario?
Metroid, so they can. Okay, I see.
Right, and I'm okay if you're Donkey Kong, right? I'm okay if you're out there wrecking stuff. Even Peach, because actually she's probably like a little bit chaotic. Bad. I don't know. The motor, but once again, you can be Donkey Kong. You can still wreck stuff. You can still be a little wild, but you don't want to be evil. You don't want to be in the Bowser Goomba, territory and be known as a bad company. And I want a world in which good games are made, and Nintendo makes good games.
I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of people want. People want good games with good stories with good characters. They don't want half-assed glitch fests with nonsensical stories with token characters.
Nintendo goes back to just focusing on the games instead of suing everybody and realizing that they themselves will profit. If they lay off the gas, they become the good guy, they focus on their content, and they can even collaborate with other companies that are in the similar genre and work together. How about a Pocket Monster convention, right? You can do so much with that. You can do so much with that if you choose to work together and focus on what businesses should be doing, which is making money.
Interstellar part, but Ace. That sounds very interesting.
Instead of engaging in lawfare. I don't know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next.
All right, that'll be it for that. No, that was a freaking treat. No, that was crazy. No, we got a good laugh out of the absurdity of that. But if no, I'm gonna make that into a standalone video, and it's gonna be called the Nintendo Ninjas versus the US military, and it's gonna be crazy. No, that's gonna get a good laugh out of some people. But if this is a standalone video, make sure you check out Legal Mindset in his original video to show him some support, and I'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and this video was streamed live on both YouTube and Kick. Be sure to check out the VODs for unedited footage as well. Take care.